Hello. All right, this is going to be a test. You heard me come in here. This is going to be a test of the audio system and how this operates. Oh, this has been a chore as far as getting my system up and running. So we're going to go ahead and play with this and see what we can do. Right now, we are going to be doing a flight from San Francisco, KSFO, to Burbank, KBUR is a flight we're going to do. So I have, hopefully everything's up and running. I'm flying for United now, as you saw there briefly. We are set for um, cold and dark. But I noticed that since I had to reset everything, the GSX is definitely taking a long time loading everything up. So I'm waiting for GSX to load everything here. And I'm not sure why that all of a sudden, it never used to do that, but now all of a sudden, okay, there we go. Now we got it. I want to go into settings though, because something happened the other day when I was playing around with this. Timing, pushback distance is set for 100 meters. Sets the distance for a straight pushback. You can fully disable the straight pushback option by wait, what? By setting a distance equal. Oh, okay. I want to set that to 0 then. So let's see what happens when I set it to 0. All right, so right now we are cold and dark, so I don't need that up and running. I just want to make sure it's on. Okay, good. So at this point, I'm going to back up a little bit so I can see a little bit more of my console here. And yeah, if you know my thing, I fly actually, do actually fly in full immersion. So I'm in an Airbus A319. We are set. It's a 319. Yeah, we can see here. We've got outside. We got people walking around GSX. I'm flying for United. I like that livery. Yeah, a little choppy. This is the problem I had before, which is what started me to do my build, so I can get these recordings and live stream smoother to you guys. But we're going to give this a try and see what happens. So, all right. So we are cold and dark. And we are coming into this aircraft straight away, so I gotta get my checklist out. All right, parking brake. Let's take a look at that. Now I do have. Let's get the armrest out of the way. That just didn't get out of the way. That got thrown. All right, so parking brake. I do have the Thrustmaster Captains pack, which I'm going to be getting rid of for a Winwings throttle pack. But we're gonna anyway. That's a whole different thing. Between Winwing and Rosefire, I should be able to start building the rest of my cockpit. I do have the MCDU on my desk here from Winwing. I also have the EFIS and FMC glare screen from Winwing as well. Side stick will be coming from Winwing. I'm going to go full Winwing and Rosefire. Like I said, I want everything I can do, because Rosefire has all these all these other little panels. Winwing has, except for the trim wheels, Winwing has everything here in the center console. So that's where I'm going to go through, including this panel here. So I definitely will be setting up my own home flight simulator. Anyway, all right, so let's see. Parking brake. Let's make sure parking brake works. Yep, it's working, so parking brake is set. Weather radar is in the off position. Predictive wind shear is off. Spoilers are retracted and disarmed. Flaps are retracted. Engine mode selector is to normal. Engine masters are in the off position. Thrust levers are responsive and in idle. Transponder mode, we are in standby. All right. And anti-skid is in the on position. Copy. All right. Landing gear lever is in the down position. And we go up above and we want to make sure the wipers are off, even though it is raining here in the Bay. Well, it's raining in the Bay Area and out here in the central part of California as well, too. It's been raining nonstop all week. So we finally are getting our snowpack and our water. All right, let's go ahead and let's fire this thing up, kick the tires and light the fires, as they say. All right, so we're going to go battery 1 on. All Alright, battery 2 to the on position. We have ground power external power is available, so we're going to go turn that on. Things are lighting up. Alright, we're going to let that go ahead. We would stand by on APU fire engine test. I got to rewrite this. Cruise supply. Alright. Cruise supply will come to on. That's oxygen supply on. Ground control recorder to on. Evac will go to captain. 8 ears, we'll get those spinned up. 1, 2, and 3. Alright, cockpit lights. We don't really need cockpit lights as required. Nav and logo lights, we do want to turn that on because we want people to know that we are, there we go, that we are actually in the cockpit. No smoking signs. Well, here out here in the United States, it is all flights are no smoking flights. Emergency lights will be set to arm. Alright. And then we'll go to the electronic flight bag. Before we do that though, let's get the ping. Everything's waking up. Alright. We're going to go. Let's hold on test. Engine 1, engine 2, check. APU, check. And cargo smoke, check. Okay. Alright, next thing we want to do is, I like to go down here. I'm going to go in and I'm going to roll the center mouse wheel forward, turn that up to full, turn this on, turn that up to full on the volume, check that. And because we're not using Beyond ATC today, this is just this test of the recording system. So we're going to go to left control and F3 on the Fenix Airbus here, and we're going to go in and go to Fenix. First place I want to go is Sim Settings, Metric Standby on, European American, and set that on. This is actually configurable inside of if you go to the liveries, and for Fenix you have to go into the actual liveries themselves. And there is a configuration page, and you can go in and set these up so you don't have to come in here all the time. Controls. Alright. Everything already. Callouts, I like those. All on. Feet, inches, pounds. GSX, all on. Cabin announcements, all on. Alright. So we are going to go to my flight. So it's import from SimBrief. We've gone through SimBrief, set this up, and it's importing. Come on, there it is. We have 24 minutes to get away from that. Get off blocks here. Ground services, GPU, chocks and cones are there. Mass and balance. We're going to go ahead and we're going to load the aircraft and let GSX do the loading and the fueling. And there goes
refueling
GSX.
truck is on its way.
Oh, I see Southwest Airlines is in there now.
Please don't load aircraft until the fuel truck arrives and ask to do it.
I haven't really kept up on that. Okay, so that's that. Let's go ahead and electronic flight bag, we're loading everything on here, light test. Okay, let's go ahead. This is actually pretty cool, lights up everything. So I'm going to go to overhead panel, straight on, and then
catering vehicles are on their way.
All lights are on. Down here on my desk, all lights have come on. So we're good. We can go ahead and on. There we go. Sometimes it's easier to get it from the side than it is from the top down. Alright, and that's your light test. Good. Probe and window heat to off.
Fuel truck is in position.
Auto, actually. Probe and window heat to auto.
Please don't load aircraft until the fuel truck arrives and ask to do it.
On position, on be lit up. Alright, anti-ice is off because they're not lit up. Anti-ice is off. Air conditioning is required. I will take it down to 2 notches because that keeps it about 70 degrees inside the cabin. Doors will be open and closed by GSX. Cargo smoke test has already been done. Acupressure has all been checked. Alright. Radio panels have been set up. Baro. Okay, we need to get our weather. So let's go to MCDU number 2. I'm going to get a second one here as well too. And my setup. Okay, MCDU and IOC menu, and we're going to go to weather, KSFO, put back in that weather request, open KSFO scratch pad, we want ATAR, we could get the TAF as well too, but I just do ATAR. Alright, return, we're going to go to receive messages, weather one first, and we're 2983 is our QNH, so we will set 2983. There it is, both sides set. I have them linked. Alright. And we will
Please use your airplane fuel system to set the desired fuel quantity.
So 11 degrees Celsius. And marks wind. We have rain. Okay, a few clouds at 3,500 feet, scattered at 5,000 feet, broken at 1,000 or 110,000 feet, but level 1. So okay, so we got a lot of clouds we're going to be dealing with as we get out of San Francisco. Alright, next thing I want to accept the preliminary load sheet. We'll be using this for center of gravity and all that stuff. So at this point, let's see, barrel's been set to go back to our panels here. Flight directors are set on both sides. We're going to go to constraint, first officer side, captain side, not necessarily in that order. Arc is set to 10. I do like to leave the first officer side set to 40. Here and here. Okay, we're good. Alright, and then we go in and we're going to look at oops, this one here. We're going to go into the FMC here. FMGC, we're going to go ahead and set this up. Now I'm doing this on the MCDU panel on my desk. So let's go ahead and first place, actually I'd like to go, let's go back over here. MCDU panel, we're going to go flight unit, and we're going to request that. There it is. Alright. And we got weather, ADS, anything else. We're just going to leave that here on this panel here. We're going to go back to the first one. And we're going to go to our init page. And we're going to request our flight plan by hitting the second right soft key init request. And there it is. Our flight number for today's flight. Oh, I need it. Hang on, I might get that started. How is that we are back here. Okay. UAL. I believe we're 1098. Pilot slide, let's get that on this screen. Okay, and our flight number. Here we go. Oh yeah, 1097 was close. Okay. And 1097.
Boarding requested.
Okay. Nav upgrade. Okay, GPS. So basically our GPS is sped up. Our cost index for today's flight is the OFP, and I use the OFP in a pilot, so I have cost index for today's flight is 5, and our cruising altitude is 310, and it is expected to be minus 48 up there at speed. Let's get our winds. Alright, wind request, looks like winds aloft. Alright, and let's back up out here. I hear the jetway moving, so I think we already have. We've got boarding started. I can't get that audio. There's got to be a way to get that audio louder, and I haven't figured out how yet. I've got it turned up in the radio, but that's the audio is from GSX, and GSX is full blast. So somewhere I need to make There's got to be a way to get that louder. Attached hub now, no. GSX choice. Okay, there we go. All right. So init page B, init page A is done. We're going to go to flight plan. Now, since we're not using Beyond ATC, we're just going to submit that we're going out through 28 left. So I'm going to go KSFO, departure, 28 left. There it is. West left 5. West left 5. Check. And then we're transitioning to out through Katina. There's the transition. We're inserting that. And coming into Burbank, we're going to be arriving on ILS 8Z, coming in on the Roker 3, and transition will be red lines. There we go, and we're inserting that, and we'll go to the airport, and we're going to scroll through, looking for any discontinuities, no discontinuities. Okay, so we're set there, good. Alright, that part is done, so we're going to go to secondary flight plan, and we are going to copy the active flight plan just out of habit. We don't need to. We are checking RadNav, we are spun up, so now we are going to, at this point, going to init page B, sorry. And then I want to look at this. Remember I said I want this load sheet here. What I want is a zero fuel weight, which is going to be 123.8. I'm going to go ahead and key that in my SOP into the scratch pad on the Captains, Captains MCDU. 0.8, we're rounding up, and I'm going to scroll up a page. I want this right here, max zero fuel weight of 30.0. So we come back over here. I have it entered in on this, so I'm going to enter it up there at the top. And now we're going to go look at fueling is done. So planned fueling is 12,588. We got 12,599, so 12.6. So we go back, and our block fuel is going to be 12.6. There's our block fuel. Let that calculate. All right, now I'll look at the landing weight right here at 132.2, because we're going to go back into here, and while I'm at the gate, I want to make sure I can land on this runway. It's a short runway, so we're going to refresh the METAR, apply, and our landing weight, expected landing weight, is 132.2. Okay, and you can see the red line. We are going to extend, so we cannot land with low. Medium, might be able to get by with medium. Try medium.
Passengers boarding starting.
Alright, so we can land with medium brakes, so if we go back and look at here, medium, okay, so medium would be this button right here, which is, we don't have any brakes yet because nothing's running, no engines are running, we got no hydraulics, so we'll come back to that. Alright. Next thing I want to do is I want to look at our charts. So we are going to go here to, and here, SFO, start, okay, West of 5, first of all, look at the airport chart, and we are, zoom in, so we are right here, so it's going to be a tail right, nose left pushback, and we are going out to, taking off from 28 left, which is down here, so our expectation is going to be tail right, nose left, out through Alpha, Foxtrot, cross runway 1 left, cross runway 1 right, continue out through Foxtrot, all the way down to the end, F2, F1, this might be F1, oh, that ILS hold, so we got to hold here, we don't want to block the ILS, so we'll hold right here, I believe is where it is, so we'll just go straight, and then we'll turn on, take off, and get out of here. Alright, so, once again, Alpha, Foxtrot, cross runway 1 left, Foxtrot, cross runway 1 right, Foxtrot to ILS hold, 28 left. That's our plan. Alright, so next thing you want to look at is our departure. And, alright, our top altitude is going to be set by ATC, and we are climb on a heading of 284 to 520, then direct to Westla at or above 2000, then climb left, turn direct to port. Alright, so we are, as we're leaving, here's the airport, we're heading out. If you're not familiar with this area, this is a massive hill right here. So, and there's people living all over this. So there's going to be a speed constraint. There's a minimum. And the minimum, I believe, is 200. We can't blast out of San Francisco. It's a sketchy takeoff, but I mean, I like it. Let's see this. Some minimums on this. Okay, this is not what I'm looking for. Let's go here. We are going to go to ground charts. Takeoff minimums. Here we go. Aircraft is loaded. Alright, we are ready to go. 28 left, climb, 2000 dance. Checking, sorry, reading. We will be holding at 2000. Okay, so let's go back to start airport so you can see. I like this, the fact that it holds your position. Alright, so we are going, and this area gets confusing. That's what you're showing here. We want to continue straight. All the taxi lines will continue straight on the Foxtrot. Alright, so we're going to leave it like this so we can see where our cursor is. Okay, so what I want to do, since we have everybody's boarded, the aircraft is loaded, we're going to go ahead and get our fuel pumps going. Start our APU. 1, 2, 3. Alright, APU started. So we're going here. And we're going to watch, I'm going to watch this screen and this screen down here. I'm going to go to performance, go to the next phase, and then pre-select, I'm going to enter 200. We could actually do a 180 as a matter of fact too. You know, I'm going to do a 180. I'm going to slow it down a little bit until we get out, go across port and hold 180. So 180 knots. Alright. And let's go to turn on this one, and we're going to take this load sheet. We're going to accept the preliminary load sheet. Still waiting for the APU to come up. Go back to page B. Okay, the APU is available, which means that then we go ahead and turn on our APU bleed, and we can remove ground power. We are now on our own. this to the MCDU if there's any changes. I'm not seeing anything in the MCDU, so then we're going to go ahead and we've already accepted our final load sheet. Make sure our weather is correct. We're going to do a calculation here. We're doing a flaps 1 takeoff with a trim of up 0.5. We're going to send that to the MCDU. Oops. So I want to go to performance page. We're going to send it to that page there. And come back and send that to the MCDU. You could enter it as well too, but we're going to go ahead and send it through our pad here. And we are good to go. We're ready, so we're going to go ahead and go back to the airport screen. I can look at it, make it big so I can look at it this way. Alright. So at this point we are ready, and what we got to do is tell GSX that we are ready by turning our beacon on. And we're going to go ahead and turn on some fasten seatbelts as well too. You got ran over.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is
Hello,
Barry,
Captain. We are
and
ready
I'm
for
your chief
pushback.
flight attendant. The
The
fasten seatbelt sign is on.
Autumn.
If you haven't already done so, please stow your carry-on luggage underneath the seat in front of you or in an overhead bin. Please take your seat and fasten your seatbelt. Also make sure your seat back and folding trays are in their full upright position.
That's loud.
If you are seated next to an emergency
Departure
exit,
checks
please
completed.
carefully read
Bypass
the
pin
special
inserted.
instructions card located by your seat. If you do not wish to
Alright,
perform
turn
the
the volume
function
down. That
described
blasted
in
you
the
guys. I
event of an
apologize. I turned it
emergency,
down. Hopefully
please
it's
ask
okay.
the flight attendant to reseat you. We remind you that this is a non-smoking flight. Smoking is prohibited on the entire aircraft, including the lavatories. Tampering
Locking
with,
gear.
disabling, or destroying the lavatory smoke detectors is prohibited by law. If you have any questions about our flight today,
Alright, so going
please
down the
don't hesitate to
checklist,
ask
fuel
one of
pumps
our
are
flight
on,
attendants.
APU
Thank
bleeds
you.
on. We're going to go ahead. I'm going to come up with a random now. BATC will give us one. I'm just going to come up with a random one, and we're going to go ahead, set that to auto. I'm going to turn off that interrupt because I think that interrupted as soon as I started hitting keys over here. Squawk is set. I said nose left, tail right.
Release parking brakes, please.
Alright, parking brakes released.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Alright, copy starting engine number 2, engine masters to start, ignition, engine 2 starting. Let's see. And not right. Okay, we're waiting for engine start. We are caught up. Seatbelt signs are on. Alright, we're good. Watch our E-cams over here. That's interesting. Delta, American, the whole bit, but according to my research, this is not backing up. I set it to 0. It's not backing up all the
Please
way.
set parking brakes.
I think that's the park. I think that's GSX for this one. Alright, setting.
Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
Alright, we are still waiting for the engine to come up. There it is. That's what I listened for, that clunk. I don't know if you guys heard that because I was talking. And there's available on engine 2. Starting engine 1. I'm going to bring up on GSX that we have a good engine start.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear.
So we are starting. So I need to go find for GSX. Somebody's probably already made it because it's San Francisco Major Airport that there's GSX settings for San Francisco because he's not pushing back, and I set it back to 0. So I think that's just a GSX configuration. Now I can go in and do it myself, and that's a project. I'd rather look and see if anybody else has already done it and just add it to GSX.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear, right is clear.
Alright, breakers have kicked in for engine number 1. Engine number 1's available. Engine master back to normal. Not engine master, I mean engine. Okay, thank you. See you. Thank you very much. You have a good trip. You should turn around and walk away. There it is. Alright. So we are after start. Pushback. Brake is on. Check. Engine mode selector to normal. Check. APU bleed can now come off. APU master to off. Flight controls. Flight controls. I'm showing no faults. No faults. Let's check flight controls. Pitch down. Neutral. Pitch up. Neutral. Roll right. Neutral. Roll left. Neutral. And where's my pedals? There we go. And right. Check. Left. And back to neutral. We're all good. Flight control's good. Go back up above. No faults. Alright, we're good. I don't have any faults turned on, so. Alright, so we are going to flaps 1. And we are setting our trim wheel to 0.5, which is approximately right there. Okay. Flaps, pitch trim, rudder trim set to 0, check. Anti-ice, no. Flight instruments, all check, good. We are good to go. Alright, we're ready to taxi now. Here we would request from Beyond ATC to taxi or from VATSIM to taxi. So we are going to go ahead and turn our nose light to taxi. Our runway turn off lights as required, but I'm going to, since it's overcast and raining, I'm going to do it. Strobes to auto. And takeoff configuration to normal. Perfect. Check. Okay. We are heading out. Remember, we are going via Alpha to Foxtrot, crossing 2 runways, 1 left, 1 right. And okay, so brakes coming off. Now the 319 on the IAE engines, I mean, no thrust is being applied. This is just idle. It's pushing this jet. That's about the size of a 319 right there in front of us. I'm thinking that I would do in the future on the 319. I'm going to do.
Hi, Captain. The cabin is now secure for takeoff.
All right, thank you. I'll see you in Burbank. I think that from now on, I'm just going to do a single engine taxi and get out to the, once we get away from the gate and get closer to the runway, start the second engine before takeoff. But in a busy airport, they would not like that. So I could use fly-by-wires FSLTL flight injector. Problem I have with that is it never fails. That, and it did the other day when I was testing it, because there was some updates. They still haven't fixed it. I'm on final, and a plane literally raced in front of me and cut the line. And so in a situation like that, that would be a go-around situation, but I just turned the damn thing off because it irritated me. Alright, so we're going to go straight.
As we may experience turbulence. There are several emergency
I need to work on the
exits
tiller
this aircraft.
settings. So with the Thrustmaster side stick, you can rotate it left and right, and that's what I'm using as a tiller since I have pedals. When I didn't have pedals, I used that as my rudder control.
Doors can be opened by moving the handle in the direction of the arrow. Each door is equipped with an inflatable slide, which may also be detached and used as a life raft. Oxygen and air pressure are always being monitored.
Alright, here we go. This is runway 1 left.
An oxygen mask will automatically
Clear to the
appear in
left.
front of you.
Clear to the right. Of course there is, because there's no other planes but me.
Place it firmly over your nose and mouth. Secure
Beyond
the elastic
ATC
band
still is a
behind
work in
your
progress
head
too, by the
and
way.
breathe
That
normally.
is a,
Although the bag
hang on,
does
let's
not
see.
inflate,
One
oxygen
right
is flowing to the mask.
is clear. I'm going to
If
cross
you are
runway.
traveling with a child or
So
someone
Beyond
who requires
ATC
assistance,
is early
secure your
access,
own
still a
mask
work in
first,
progress.
and then assist the other person.
There's times out
Keep your
there
mask on
where
until a crew member
with
advises
Beyond
you to remove
ATC,
it.
it's cleared
In the
me for
event of an
pushback,
emergency, please
so I've pushed
assume the
back.
braking position.
And I get
If
ready to
you
taxi,
hear,
and
brake,
as I taxi, here
brake,
comes a plane, and now we're
brake.
nose to nose. And
Lean
then Beyond
forward with your
ATC
hands on
tells
top
me
of
to
your
hold
head
for
and
traffic.
your elbows against your thighs.
Well, the traffic's in front of me.
Ensure
I
your
can't
feet are
move.
flat
He
on the
can't
floor.
move.
A life vest
You
is
know,
located in
and
a pouch
so
under the
it's,
seat or
I have to
between
go
the
in. I
armrests.
think I just got to dive in and see
When
those settings.
instructed to do
Because I
so,
know
open
it
the plastic
uses
pouch and remove the
FSLTL to inject the
vest. Slip it over
traffic.
your head. Pass the straps around
And
your waist and
I want
adjust
to make
at the
sure,
front.
okay, I'm away.
To
But I want
inflate
to make
the
sure
vest,
my ground speed's
pull
22.
firmly
I
on the
can't
red
exceed
cord,
30 right
only
now.
when leaving the aircraft. If you need to refill the vest, blow into the mouthpieces. Use the whistle
Plus
and
control
light
gets a
to
little
attract
erratic.
attention.
That's where I need to get adjust
Also,
my
your
sensitivity
seat bottom
settings
cushion can be used as a
for my
flotation
tiller.
device.
I'm off.
Pull the cushion from the seat, slip your arms into the straps, and hug the cushion to your chest. You will find this and all the other safety information.
Yep,
in
that
the
is
card
water out
located in the
there.
seat
It
pocket
is
in
really
front of you.
unique flying in on
We
and
strongly
coming in
suggest
and
you read it
landing
before
on
takeoff. If you have
28
any
left or
questions,
28 right,
please
because
don't
you're over the
hesitate to ask
water,
one of our crew
and you
members.
just you're looking out the
We wish
window.
you all an enjoyable
The water's
flight.
getting closer and closer and closer and closer, and then all of a sudden you see land and you touch down. So it's an interesting place for an airport. I'm very busy in the Bay Area because not only do you have SFO, San Francisco, literally across the bay, over there is Oakland Airport, which is another very busy airport because, and I don't know what the difference is, but flying out of Oakland, they go to the same destinations, but it's cheaper to fly out of that airport than it is to fly out of SFO. So, I don't know. And if you're coming from the Central Valley of California, it's easier to get to Oakland than it is to get to SFO. But I would actually, honestly, if you're coming from the Central Valley, you could drive to Livermore, which is on the way there, and then you could take Bay Area Rapid Transit, and Bay Area Rapid Transit goes right into SFO. So if you don't have a whole lot of luggage, okay, here's our ILS line. We're going to go ahead, and I want to look to see. So we don't want to stop here because we don't want to block the ILS line. So, but that's our hold line right there. So we're going to go ahead and pull up to the hold line. If there's another plane behind us, they don't want to block that because that will interfere with the ILS radio signals for other incoming planes. And if you're a big plane, you're going to hold back. Alright, here's 28 left, which is our departure runway. We're going to pull right on up. Alright, brakes on. Okay, so our taxi is finished. Parking brake is set. So we do before takeoff, takeoff. Okay, parking brake is on. Weather radar. At this point, we do this away from, my understanding is we do this away from the, we could do this actually on the way to this spot. And if you have a first officer, they're actually doing it as you're taxiing, or if you're taxiing, or if they're taxiing, you're doing it. Okay, TCAS is set to TARA. Alright, spoilers go to armed. Auto brakes go to max. They are set to max. Train radar to on. Cabin crew will be advised here. Strobe lights to full on. Runway turnoff lights are on. Landing lights go to on. Nose light goes to takeoff. packs we can turn off. That way all thrust is going out the back of the plane. Alright, and ECAM no blue. We are ready to start. Let's roll on out. Brakes coming off. Yeah, am I a noob at this? Absolutely. I still want to find a better... I mean, I've got this. This is flight sim add-ons, checklists, and procedures. But you can kind of tell that it's more for European because the flow, I've made changes to it to kind of how we fly here in the United States. I'm looking for like more effective, more accurate, like for what does I'm flying for United. What does United do in their checklists? I found a legit checklist from United, and I'm like, okay, half this stuff I'm not even aware of. I'm a gamer, for Pete's sakes. All right, we're gonna come here, come to a stop. We're effectively lined up. All right, we're gonna come to a stop here. All right, and we're gonna go into flight plan on the MCDU. All right, and at this point, we are ready to start our chrono. Brakes as required, and engine stabilize at 40%. And then we go into, we are not set, we're going for flex. We're not set for toga. All right, so chrono to on, brakes coming off. A little thrust over, we're stabilizing, little nose down, and going into flex. Here we go. $80 knots. Relaxing on the front wheel. Little left rudder. Little right rudder. Now, come on, hold the center line. Come on, hold it. Yeah, I'm all over the place. V1, and time to rotate. Positive rate of climb. Gear up. Autopilot engaged. What is the alarm?
Don't sink. Don't sink.
Oh shit.
Don't sink.
I know what the problem is.
Don't sink.
I forgot to set my altitude.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
Let's get up over this hill.
Don't sink.
Autopilot disengaged. That's what the master alarm is. There we go. Lever climb. That was rough. Mistakes made. I'm going through everything, and the one thing I forgot to set was my altitude. But we did not slam into a hill. Couldn't figure out what that buzzing alarm was, and now I know. It was me being stupid. Alright, we're turning. And I'm holding 180 knots. Well, I was. He's slowing me down. Because I'm looking at my screen here. The reason I wanted to do 180 was to stay on the track. If you leave that track, in some cases, oh yeah. Turn air conditioning back on again. But if you leave it, it's a fine. So I want to make sure. Alright, you got 2 flaps because of my error, so. Alright, we made that turn, we're out over the water, we're good. We should have an increase in speed. We do, so I'm going to reduce a flap. And we're above the speed marker, so okay, no flaps. Alright, flaps are retracting. Alright, so what turned out to be a huge mistake was reverted. You guys would have seen an accident. Alright, auto brakes are set for medium. So we're at 9,000. We're holding at 9,000. And our final thing was, so we're going to go to 31. ATC has told us to climb to 3,100, which is our cruising altitude. So we're going to start our climb. Plane starting to climb. There we go. We can go ahead and get rid of this. There we go. Watch our track here. I flew this yesterday. I am okay, we're over 10,000 feet. So actually that light can come off. These can come off. That's our landing lights and nose light to off. Seatbelt is off for over 10,000 feet. And train radar off. We got rain in front of us.
The captain has
You
turned
can
off
see
the
it.
fasten seatbelt sign, and you
And
may
it's
now
legit.
move around the cabin.
I'm looking out. Well, we got some sun
However,
now out
we
here
always
outside.
recommend keeping your seatbelt fastened while you're seated. In a few moments, the flight attendants will be passing around the cabin to offer you hot or cold drinks, as well as a light meal. Alcoholic drinks are also available.
All right,
at
and
a
then
nominal
what we're doing,
cost.
this is only about a 45-minute
Now,
flight to
sit
go
back,
from
relax,
San
and
Francisco
enjoy the
down to
flight.
Burbank.
Thank you.
And Bob Hope Airport, or what used to be called Bob Hope Airport, they no longer call it that. Let's see. Man, what's mail? Hobo. Yeah, no. Not spam, and no. Delete. Sorry, I had HBO Max was wanting me to come back to them. I rotate through them because I get tired of watching some of the same stuff over and over again. Alright, so 10,000 feet is when landing lights and seatbelts and all that came on. We're good there. Now we're waiting for our transition altitude, which is anywhere between flight level 180 or 185. So I'm waiting for the QNH to start flashing right there, and then we'll go ahead and set our QNH to standard. We are at 15,000 feet and climbing, and we're bouncing around. Look at the wings and everything flex. If you can get it this way. Yeah, see, it's still without. If I go slow enough. There we go. You can see the wing flexing. We got some turbulence today. Was worse yesterday. Okay, so I'm going to go to. You can see I changed my distance on the radar on for the navigation display. Set it out to 160 nautical miles, and I do that for a reason which you'll see here in a minute. I just want to wait till we get to that transition altitude. Alright, transition altitude's there. I'm going to pull out on the knob. Our QNH has gone to standard, and it says standard here, so we're good. So what I'm going to do now, let me go to navigation or MCDU. I am going to go to our arrival airport, and I'm going to scroll down until I find top of descent. Alright, so there's our top of descent right here. It's 13 nautical miles to Iggy. So I'm going to add 40 to that, so that's 53. So I'm going to go Iggy and fix info IGGYY. Enter that. 53 is what I want. And then I'm going to inject that. Alright. So now the reason I did that is this is the waypoint that I added. So from this waypoint to Cisco, it's 21 miles. Cisco to Red Hot is 8, so that's 29. Red Hot to Top of Descent is another 12, so 29 and 12. That's 41 nautical miles. And I set that because I want to make sure that my arrival information, I set that in the MCDU. Alright, so, oops, sorry. Alright, and then right here on the navigation display is that waypoint that I put in. Now there's two things that I could have done. I could have just left it. I would have had a blue circle, or I could have injected it, which I did, and I just preferred doing that. So, and this is I'm at 160 nautical miles out. This is the waypoint. When that waypoint crosses 80, I drop down to 80. When it crosses 40, I drop down to 40. And that's just me making me feel better as I go through the progression of the flight. So that part is set, so I can go ahead and set the MCDU back to the flight plan. So we are still looking at top of climb. So top of climb, oh, that's top of descent. Top of climb, I would lost top of climb because it was right here in the arc. There's our top of climb, and which is right before Katina, and then right after Red Hot is our top of descent. Alright, so now what do I do? Well, I already know that it's 3,000 feet is what we want to set it, but I want to look at our ground our charts again. So we're going to be looking here at Burbank, and we're coming in ILS-Z runway 8. Alright, so here's our 3,000 feet. So when we start our descent, we're going to set that to 3,000 feet, and the airplane will manage itself down to the 3,000 feet, where it's mandatory that we hit 3,000 feet and pick up the ILS, which is a 3-degree ILS. That's typical. Here's our barrel for the ILS of 1075. So remember 1075, we're going to go back here, and I'm going to go into performance. And I'm going to go next phase, right here, Barrow. We're going to go 1075. There. Alright, so I can go over here, and I'm going to go into AOC menu, weather request, KBUR, KBUR. So this is really early in the flight, but if this was a longer flight, but since it's a short flight of about 45 minutes to an hour, perfect time to do this. Get that weather request. It rarely ever changes. So 2986 is what we want to put in, along with a temperature of 09 Celsius. Okay, and I'm looking at confirming those numbers also on a Pilot's Life, and they have the same exact numbers because Pilot's Life pulls it in from here. We also need the weather or the wind. So 140 degrees, heading 140, or coming out of 140, or heading 140. I always get confused by that, at 6 knots. So what we're now going to do is we are going to enter that information here. So the QNH was 2986. Temperature is 09. Alright, and our wind is 140 at 6 knots. There we go. Alright, and we are set, so we can go back to flight plan, and that information is set. So we're basically at this point just enjoying the flight. Ooh, that's we do have. Okay, so once we get to, we're at flight level 290, so we'll get above at the flight level 310 or close to it. We can go ahead and change our TCAS to below BLW, so that way if we have to make an emergency landing, we know what aircraft are below us. Other than that, we are good. Our MCDU is set for our arrival. We're in good shape. I am not seeing anybody else flying for United on a pilot's life right now. Those planes show up as blue. I only see like maybe a couple of people in the area flying. Of course, it's a Thursday.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our cruising altitude. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight. Have a great journey.
Alright, so we are coming up to our cruising altitude. And so we're going to go to below. Everything's looking good. Alright. Yeah, it's that's out where I live, way out there underneath all those clouds. That's out where I live. So I see one other person. Oh, the screen just changed. I see one other person flying for United. They might be, looks like they're heading into LAX, maybe LAX or San Diego. Which reminds me, for San Diego, if I ever have to go down to San Diego, I need to flight plan RNAV. Approach via waypoint. I gotta go through the waypoint. Which waypoint? So it gives me waypoints to go through it. So I'm just looking at my procedures for doing. I'm not doing an RNAV, but RNAVs are fun. Alright, so we're actually past 80. We're coming up to 40. As a matter of fact, we're about to hit 40. I'm looking at the navigation display right here. I am not getting that door. I was doing this yesterday and flying, and in the middle of it, shit started to happen. People knocking on my door, and I mean, I'm trying to do stuff. I'm ignoring it. I'm done. I'm done. Alright, anyway, so I just changed my navigation display to to 40 nautical miles, and there's somebody knocking on my door. I'll be back in a moment. Dang, something's broken over there. Alright, anyway, so I'm back. As you can tell, we got rain in front of us. I'm looking at the navigation display. That's rain. So this may be a wet arrival into Burbank. You're going to notice too that it's I have not set up OBS for the stream. I'm just recording me being in the plane. It's not fancy. It's clean. Well, I won't even say it's clean. It's raw. I'll put it that way. But I've got to go through. I've got to set OBS up. Earlier today, I did a episode for Satisfactory, and that has been posted. I'm going to do another one probably after this flight. I want to get this flight in. Tomorrow my plan is I'll get it set up, and then tomorrow or the next day, I plan on doing a flight where I will do a turn. I'll go in, like in this case here, flying San Francisco to Burbank, make it, go in, unload, set the plane up for return back to SFO, load the plane, and then go back to SFO and make it a full day. That will be, normally the flight time is about an hour, but by the turn and everything is done, because I'm looking here, this is an hour, but I'm already an hour into this recording. So it takes longer than what you think. I mean, in a pilot's life, you only get paid for the time that you're in the air. So, speaking of which, is anybody else playing right now? He has not sent me a friend's request, and I need to go take a look at that. I haven't seen or heard from him. Sorry, I'll look into that later. It's a new player that he's a run 8. We met playing run 8. Good guy, great guy. Sean is his name. He cracks me up. We pick on each other very well. Okay, actually, I'm coming into 20 nautical miles. Yep, so that's the waypoint that I injected. Once I inject that waypoint, about the time on a longer flight, this is a short flight, but on a medium to long flight, by the time this waypoint hits, when I'm at this level where I've set the navigation display to 20 nautical miles, now I'm actually programming. But I'm looking at information and nothing literally has changed, so I'm just going to fly with it. I would also get an error message on my MCDU to go ahead and start programming. To give you an idea of how short of a flight this is, here it is. This is the estimated transit point, or the midway point on the flight. So and flying for United is it's actually a good one. I've been trying to get to United simply because my home airport, it had always been the airport that I always flew out of, was San Francisco. I flew for Delta for quite a while. I flew for American for quite a while, but neither one of them used San Francisco as a hub. So flying on a consistent basis out of San Francisco was not going to happen. And then there was only American where I got one trip to SFO. So I'm now with United. I did take about $1 pay cut to go fly with United, but my hub is now San Francisco, and so I will do my short flights and my medium flights out of San Francisco. So in this particular flight, what I've got, where's my schedule? I am looking at, well, today's flight is from Burbank and then back to SFO. Then I go fly into Santa Barbara. That's a short one. It's about the same duration, but it's interesting. I go into Santa Barbara, which is an airport I've never been in. Burbank I've never been into. Santa Barbara I've never been into. So I fly out of SFO to Santa Barbara. I fly back to back SFO. That could be a day. I could play maybe Saturday. I'll plan that one and do SFO to Santa Barbara, back to SFO, back to Santa Barbara, back to SFO. Then I go into Redmond, Washington. Never been into that airport. And then I go into Portland after that. Never been into that airport. So I get to fly out of my favorite airport and return and fly to destinations I've never been to. So moving over to United's been a good choice. So I'm happy with it so far. And as the short flights are generated, if I don't like it, you can have them regenerate. It's bad. It's all based off of actual real flights. So, and if I don't like it, then I might do a long flight. I might fly to Denver. Denver's another hub. So, and I can always choose to fly out of another hub for a while and check, and do different airports in different parts of the country. So, I am, let's see, where's my let's go to the dashboard here. I'm keeping an eye on the navigation display as I'm talking. You got there's red hot right there, and my top of descent is after red hot. So, alright, so right now I am more than halfway to senior captain level 1, which gives me an increase in my pay, so I'll get that $1 back. I was actually, it's less than, well, about, it was almost $81. I'm at $79 an hour now for every hour I spend in the air. I have over $5,000 in the bank. I need at least $30,000 in the bank. And then I'm gonna go spend that money on upgrades so I can make more money and more XP. So that's how a Pilot Life works. And it's Pilot Life. I mean, it's cheap, it's free, it's huge. I mean, if you just like to get around and goof around, hey, then don't worry about Pilot's Life. But if you want to fly with kind of a purpose, use a Pilot's Life. And it works with VATSIM as well too. So you now have a reason to fly. You use SimBrief to plan your flight. That's given to you by a Pilot's Life. You can actually click on Pilot's Life. In Pilot's Life, they have SimBrief dispatch, so whatever flight comes up, it automatically goes right into SimBrief. You make your changes in SimBrief, and then Pilot's Life will download from SimBrief, and of course, SimBrief also, or the flight sim will also download from SimBrief. So it's a unique thing. I need to start doing more beyond ATC. When I'm flying by myself, I don't do it. I think I need to start doing it. And like I said, I get frustrated when, on the ground I'm taxiing and all of a sudden I'm nose to nose to another plane because Beyond ATC approved my taxi to the runway, but yet another plane's coming in. And they don't tell me, or I'll say, hey, I'm ready for a push and start. Go ahead, I'm approved for push and start. Okay, great. So I'm being pushed back, start up the engines, tug pulls away, I look, and here comes a plane right to my face. The Beyond ATC doesn't stop the injectors. So is that Beyond ATC's problem? Or is that FSLTL's problem? I'm thinking it's FSLTL's problem, because I have that same problem when I don't run Beyond ATC, but I'm running FSLTL to get some life on the airport. All of a sudden I'll have a plane as I'm taxiing, there'll be a plane going right through my plane. So I think a lot of that is FSLTL. There are some other options that I can use I'm going to look into, but right now FSLTL is actually one of the better ones, and they have a lot of liveries. Alright, so we're coming to the top of descent. Let's go to 3,000 feet, starting our descent. So you didn't get to see me do it, but I changed it to 3,000 feet. The dot means these are managed. So manage heading, manage speed, and you'll see the plane start to pitch up and nose down, and that's how it controls its speed. Also, engines have gone to idle, so they're just idling. And the IAE engines actually are very efficient. They put out a lot of thrust. Normally I would start that top of descent within 3 miles. So when the hockey stick hits the dashed lines right there, that's usually when I start my top of descent. But I was monologuing and I looked down and went, oh shit. So, alright. So right now it's a little bit fast, but we are in the safe range for the descent. So we are descending, we are green dot, so we're good. We're starting our descent, we're doing fine. This area up here, man, yesterday, I'm looking at it, the winds are heading 265, or coming from 265. I'm trying to think, so we are heading south. So yeah, it's coming from 266 at 90 knots. Yesterday it was over 125. So that's why I was saying yesterday the turbulence was a lot more. So as we descend, the wind speed will decrease. So far though, I'm actually pretty happy. Alright, we are at the top of that. I'm going to hit a little bit of air brakes. We got a company message. Let's back out. Go company message. Alright, speed brakes, we're back in that. We're right there in the magenta arrow, so we're perfect on the speed, so I reduced the speed, got rid of the speed brakes. We're still green dot on the descent, so we're doing really well. Alright, so if we look at where we're at, zoom out, there's Burbank right there. So we're very close. At this point, I'm going to Burbank. I want airport, and we are coming in on 08, which is right here. This is the shorter of the two runways. We will be going into this area. Did a little research where the United gates are, and it tends to be in this area on this side right here. So we'll be crossing, as we come in, we got to cross runway 33 and then turn in. So alright, we're going to leave it just like that so we can see. Yeah, so we're either going to be getting off at C6 or getting off closer across runway 33, then turn in and come around until we get to our gate. Don't know, never been in. We'll see how it is. Alright, purple is our next waypoint. We need to be above flight level 220. I'm sorry, above flight level 220, below, sorry, I misspoke again. Above flight level 200 and below 220. So we'll see how we cross. So we're in green dots, so we should make that. We're at perfect speed as well too. So we are on track. Plane's managing itself very, very well. Once again, once we get down to air transition altitude of 180, we will need to change our QNH to 2986, and so we'll have accurate altimeter, or as they say over there in Great Britain, altimeter. I don't. Same. Tomato, tomato, doesn't matter. This means the same thing. Santa Barbara's right there. We're about to, if we made a left, well, we're making a left turn now. If we make a right turn right here, we'd be going into Santa Barbara. That's our next stop. Santa Barbara, and then I want to fly into Santa Maria. I used to go down there almost every spring break. So with the softball team when I was helping to coach. Not so much now. I kind of walked away from that. It's just, yeah, that last season really left a bad taste in my mouth. And I mean, our head coach he said, "I'm done. I'm retiring." Yeah, it wasn't good. So mean, part of coaching is you try to teach kids life skills. You know, well, what kind of life skills can you teach them when the parents are basically going, that's not how you do it. And the parents don't even have good life skills. So, passing XL. Next is U2. Ooh, look at that little jump right there. Look at that. Ooh. I have, yes, I do have, I have turbulence turned on to realistic. Alright, we are getting the standard, so it was flight level 185, and we want to dial up to 2986. We are set. Okay, QNH is set for 2986, and we're good. Next milestone on this is flight level, well, 10,000 feet, flight level 110. More drag, yeah, we're at the top of that. So I'm bringing out a green dot. We're above altitude. Green dot is going 2 steps. 3 steps on the speed brake. Green dot slowly coming back up. Full speed brake. Wow. Green dot's coming back in again, so we're coming in line where we're supposed to be. Oof. Getting kicked around up here a little bit. You can see the speed breaks out on the wing there. It just blows my mind, the engineering. I mean, it's like, okay, we're about we're right at the mark. I'm coming off the speed brake, and speed comes right back up again. See if the plane manages it. Now, coming over the mountains, that's where we're getting kicked around. It's like a lot with the wind and everything from the storm. See if we get a more drag indication here. It's trying to slow itself down. Alright. See what it does here. You know what? With this much turbulence,
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. Please return to your seats and keep your seatbelts fastened. Thank you.
going 10 nautical miles on the navigation display. I'm looking down at the MCDU. Everything is under 10 nautical miles for the separation between the waypoints. Yep, more drag. We have a 50-mile-an-hour crosswind that we're dealing with right here. So I think I don't know if I completed my thought. I was going to say, I mean, it just blows my mind, the engineering. With that much vibration in the wings, and I'm surprised those things just don't snap off. Not saying they don't. Okay, we're under 10,000 feet. Landing lights come on. Okay. Seatbelt signs are already on. Terrain radar comes to on. Speed brake off. Oh, let's get our EFIS going as well. Alright.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we start our descent, please make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright positions. Make sure your seatbelt is securely fastened and all carry-on luggage is stowed underneath the seat in front of you or in the overhead bins. Thank you.
Sorry, focusing on what I gotta do here. We're all set. Before landing, cabin crew's been advised. They already know EFIS is required. Flight control unit, we gotta set to approach. I'm looking here. Our next step, we got this way here at Mikey, and then we go across here. That's our decel point, and that's what I'm looking at the next step. Altitude constraint coming up at 7,000 feet. That's what the magenta means. So we are under constraints. Starting to make our turn. Decel is 2 miles away. Okay, Mikey, and we're going to go into approach mode, hit our decel. Okay, autopilot 1 and 2 on. Approach mode is on. Speed limit is exceeded. Yes, I know. Let's go ahead and get speed brakes out. We're going to go ahead and slow this bird down. Speed limit really just dropped off right there. Why are you speeding up? It's the wind.
Hi, Captain. The cabin is now secure for landing.
Engines are idle. Speed brakes are out. It's trying to slow itself down. I like to lower my landing gear right around. I gotta look it up to see what the safe out with speed is to lower your landing gear. There's our first marker. I've heard it. Some pilots call it an eyebrow. I don't know what you want to call it. I just call it the marker. Okay, first marker. This will help slow us down. Flaps coming down or slats coming out. speed limit's exceeded. I know. Alright. And we're under 200. Flaps coming down. There you can see the flaps moving. Here coming down. Flaps 3. Alright, master switched on. 1, 2, 3. Landing lights on. Taxi to nose lights to takeoff. All lights are on. We're gonna, since we're cloudy, we're gonna turn wing lights on as well too. Alright, full flaps. Speed brake off. And engaged, everything good. Alright, we have captured the localizer. Glide slope is coming in. Still showing speed limit exceeded. Let's get rid of that. We're not exceeded. We're right where we need to be. Glide slope is being captured, and as soon as the box goes away,
2,500.
right there. All right, 2,500. We are above. All right, we are in line with the runway, and we need a Buddha. I think we need to be at 3,000. It says 2,750, but because the 3,000 on the primary display is blue, we're good. Which means that the computer thinks that we're going to be crossing Buddha at exactly where we need to be. It's 27.5 thing but that call of 2,500 is between the bottom of the plane and the ground. All right, no blue on the ECAM. Full flaps. Full flaps. I have the controls. It's just overcast. It doesn't seem to be raining. So it's called Hollywood Burbank Airport now. It used to be called Bob Hope Airport.
Cabin crew, seats for landing.
Should have just kept it that. Bob Hope was amazing. I love that guy. I was gonna say, as a kid, I mean the Bob Hope movies cracked me up. A little more. Good. Back off a bit. Yep. Back off. Stay on the glide slope. Still lined up. We're good. Oh, a little bit of right rudder. Runway's in sight. A little more. Yep, hold that glide slope. I'm at minimum, continuing. We got rain.
Minimum. Retard.
Alright, we are stopped here on the
Ladies and
runway.
gentlemen, for your safety and comfort, please
Alright,
remain
somehow
seated
I
with
need to
your
go
seatbelt
to
fastened
the
until
right.
the captain turns off the fasten seatbelt sign. This will indicate that we have parked at the gate and that it is safe for you to move about. At this time, you may use your cellular phones if you wish. Please check around your seat for any personal belongings you may have brought on
Taxi,
board
we'll
with
leave
you,
that
and please use
on.
caution when opening the overhead bins, as heavy articles may have shifted around during the flight. If you require deplaning assistance, please remain in your seat until all other passengers have deplaned. One of our crew members will then be pleased to assist you. On behalf of myself, Vera, and the entire crew, I'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we are looking forward to seeing you on board again soon. Have a nice day.
Alright, let's go ahead and get out of here. APU's running, brake fans as required. We don't need brake fans, are good. I think next time I come in here I will use max brakes. Not low, but max brakes to try to stop this thing further on this short of a runway coming in on 08. Yeah, I missed the turn. So, alright, let's see. After landing spoilers, flaps can go, spoilers disarmed, brakes, okay, to off. Okay, this is kind of... Hey, you guys get to walk out of leave the airplane and depart in a rainstorm because they don't have any jetways. Trying to find this one here. This is, yeah, I gotta... Okay, so my taxi in is jacked up, but we're gonna get this. Alright, we're gonna stop here. Parking brakes on. Alright, let's go down the checklist. Strobe lights to off. Runway turn off lights to off. Landing lights are off. Taxi light to off. Nose lights to taxi. Wing anti-ice engine APU bleed on. Okay, return to the gate. Runway turn off lights off. Nose wheel lights off. Parking brakes are on. APU bleed is on. Engine masters 1 to off. Engine master 2 to off. Alright, and we're going to go fuel pumps off. Alright, beacon light to off. Seatbelt signs. Whoa! That's interesting. What is that? I did not know. What is that? Something just popped up. I'm not sure what that is, but I like it. Alright, seatbelt signs are off. Alright, transponder mode goes to standby and off. There we go. Anti-ice is off. Exterior lights as required, or exterior lights as required, not needed. External power on. We do have external power to on. APU master and start off. So APU bleed goes to off and master goes to off. Okay. And then we'll be securing the aircraft here, which will be brake fans to off. Yes. Emergency lights. So brake fans, let's turn off the radar because I don't want to nuke anybody that's out there. Emergency lights. You know what I didn't see on this? Oh, I missed it. Chrono to off. Weather predictor, wind shear off, train off, flight directors to off. I need to link all those. Flight directors to off. No smoking sign to off. Emergency lights to off. Nav and logo lights to off. And there we go. No smoking off. Crew supply to off. Ground control is off. ADIRS 1, 2, and 3. Turn those off. Cockpit lights are already off. APU is off. External power to off. Batteries to off. Electronic flight bag will shut itself off when everything's on cooldown right now, so this will turn itself off. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for flying Air Lazy Farmer. We have made it into Burbank alive and safe. So I will try to get the OBS stuff set up so it'll be a little more like than a closeout than just shutting off. So apologies, but it did go fairly smooth. I was actually pretty impressed. So whatever I fixed. I think, okay, there goes. The airplane is now going back to cold and dark. We're good. All right. Flight report. How we do? I'm looking at the flight report. Everything green except for the landing rate. Landing rate was a little. Oh, and max airspeed, initial climb. Yeah, that was a failure coming out of San Francisco. That was expected. Submit my flight. All right. So our return flight next will be Burbank to San Francisco. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. I'll catch you guys later. Once again, there's no transition into a leaving screen or an outro screen. It's just going to shut off. So thanks for hanging out with me. I'll catch you next time. This is Kurt H. I'm the Lazy Farmer. Have a good day.